Good evening and welcome to the news. Before we begin, here's a quick look at the headlines. Meghalaya youth rescued from Kashmir after a distress call through the CM Connect helpline. Haliwar to receive Padma Shri for preserving Meghalaya's living root bridges and Khasi bio-weaving heritage. Kokomi organizes a youth bike rally in Imphal to raise awareness against narco-terrorism. And India and US discuss energy security, strategic partnership and expansion of bilateral energy trade. Let's look at the local news first. A Meghalaya youth allegedly subjected to abuse and exploitation in Jammu and Kashmir was reunited with his family after a rescue operation coordinated through the 1971 CM Connect helpline. Conrad K. Sangma received Jinal R. Marak from Lumturi village at Guwahati airport on Saturday. Marak was reportedly working at a restaurant in Srinagar for 3 years under abusive conditions and was allegedly denied wages. The rescue operation was launched after a distress call was received through the CM Connect helpline on April 24th. Officials from Meghalaya coordinated with Jammu and Kashmir authorities, leading to his rescue by the Anti-Human Trafficking Unit and Labour Department officials. The Meghalaya government said Marak's pending wages were cleared before he was safely brought back home. The Chief Minister said he was deeply relieved and grateful to welcome Marak back safely.
And as you're aware that he was basically taken there and was working under very difficult and extreme difficult conditions, not getting paid, and was not able to contact in fact his family. Through different contacts and through connections with CM Connect, the information reached our police department, and the police department immediately went into action, and it is through their coordination we were finally able to get in touch and retrieve back Jenal R. Marak, and therefore I'm very happy that the CM Connect could be of service and could help save the life of one individual, and like that many other positive aspects and difference that we are being able to make through CM Connect. And I take this opportunity to thank the entire team and also wish our young friend and his entire family the very best for their future.
From silently guiding living routes across deep valleys to earning one of the country's highest civilian honours, Meghalaya environmentalist Haliwar has turned an ancient Khasi tradition into a symbol of sustainable living and environmental stewardship. Here's a report.
Where rivers in spate pose constant reminders of nature's power, there rose a man who patiently replied in the very language of nature. The man who grows bridges, Haliwar.
Padma Shri 2026.
In the far eastern hills of India, where the monsoon writes its story in torrents and storms, nature is not something people fight, it is something they listen to. Here, in 1957, in the remote village of Siege near Sohra in Meghalaya, was born Haliwar amongst the gentle people of the Khasi Hills. At 10 years old, he stepped into a tradition that demanded something rare in the modern world: patience, measured not in minutes or even years, but in generations. The tradition of building living root bridges across rivers, a precious jewel in the rich heritage of the Khasi people. Formed from the aerial roots of the rubber fig tree, Ficus elastica, these structures take decades to mature. They twist, strengthen and grow, becoming a part of the forest itself, a collaboration between human ingenuity and nature's strength.
My grandfather would take me into the forest, where there were no root bridges. People had to walk many more miles to cross the river. This was the only way to our farms. My grandfather showed me how living root bridges were made. He showed me how to select and care for the roots, how to support them cross the river till they become strong. He told me these bridges won't just help in crossing the river, but they are a part of who we are.
Despite his responsibilities and the work at his pepper and areca nut plantations, Halliwar makes sure to care for the bridges, cleaning and strengthening them, guiding their growth. Because a living bridge is never finished, it must be nurtured, just like any life form. Today, more than 10,000 visitors travel to CH each year to witness these remarkable structures, drawn by their beauty, by the wisdom they represent, and by a form of engineering that produces no pollution.
I am happy that in Meghalaya, we value our traditions and try to preserve these living root bridges. This not only brings honor to me, but it brings honor to my family, to my village, to my grandfather, my father who taught me the way to live with nature, not against it.
Shri Halliwar, Padma Shri 2026. Koti Koti Naman.
Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma was felicitated by the All Garo Hills SSA School Teachers Association in Tura on Friday for his commitment towards strengthening Meghalaya's education sector. The program witnessed the launch of the MBOS e-office management system and accounting system aimed at improving transparency and financial management. The Chief Minister also launched the CM Lead Fellowship to bring young professionals into the education sector across Meghalaya's 12 districts. The fellowship will support innovation and implementation in nearly 8,000 government and government-aided schools in the state. A total of 27 vehicles were flagged off to strengthen field-level monitoring and improve mobility of education officials. Addressing the gathering, Sangma said education reforms must focus on improving conceptual learning and quality outcomes among students.
Education Department to come ka Mandira certificate ko distribute pa utnega chu. Dalu ya program ulta bisonsa certificate ko maska. Unigaman namen historic day ini akan apa baran ulta. Arongan namen lesma sapanci ko akan telas. Dalu ji kamna ko official lang nikap kita. Wal sal kam ka ingat. Papat subayo mandiran appreciate paronza.
Conrad K. Sangma attended the centenary celebration of Tura Natya Samiti in Lower Babupara, Tura, marking 100 years of cultural and theatrical excellence. Addressing the gathering, the Chief Minister praised the institution's contribution towards preserving art, culture, theatre and social harmony in Garo Hills since 1926. He said the Samiti played a vital role in nurturing generations of artists, musicians, actors and writers in the region. Sangma also highlighted Meghalaya's growing prominence in music, film and cultural industries at the national level. The Chief Minister announced 25 lakh rupee financial assistance for infrastructure development of Tura Natya Samiti. The program featured cultural performances, release of a commemorative souvenir and traditional celebrations marking the historic milestone.
Rabha Association, Hajong Association, मान एसोसिएशन अलग अलग जगहों में अलग अलग एसोसिएशंस हमारे कार्बी एसोसिएशन रिभॉय में, ऐसे छोटे छोटे हमारे जो कम्युनिटीज जो मेघालय में आज हैं, सभी को मैंने अपने चीफ मिनिस्टर स्कीम से या मेघालय सरकार की स्कीम से हम लोगों ने कल्चरल सेंटर्स खोलने के लिए हमने मदद किया है और आगे भी हम लोग करेंगे। और मैं ये इसलिए मानता हूं क्योंकि मेरा मानना बड़ा सिंपल है कि आज हम एक गारो कम्युनिटी के हिसाब से हम अपने माइनॉरिटी होने का, हमारे पॉपुलेशन कम होने का, देश को लेकर
Khasi and Garo languages have been formally included in the CBSE scheme of studies under the revised three-language framework for the 2026-27 academic session. The inclusion will allow CBSE-affiliated schools to offer both languages as optional third language subjects. The move follows intervention by the Meghalaya government after the two languages were initially left out of the revised CBSE language policy. Conrad K. Sangma thanked Union Education Minister Dharmendra Pradhan for facilitating the inclusion. Sangma said the decision will benefit students, support schools and teachers, and strengthen preservation of Meghalaya's linguistic heritage. The mortal remains of late Cressida G. Momin, who died in Dubai on May 21st, arrived in New Delhi on Sunday and will be taken to Rongjeng for her last rites. Conrad K. Sangma said the government immediately activated official channels to facilitate the repatriation process after receiving news of her death. Sangma expressed condolence to the bereaved family and prayed for strength for them during this difficult time. Cressida G. Momin had suffered a cardiac arrest on May 15th and later passed away at a private hospital in Dubai. Officials and staff of Meghalaya House in Delhi paid homage and offered wreaths on behalf of the Chief Minister at the airport cargo terminal. Family members are expected to receive the mortal remains in Guwahati before taking them to Rongjeng. The Voice of the People Party held a public meeting at Vika Complex, Klariat to discuss its agitation agenda and issues related to mining in East Jaintia Hills. VPP President Ardent M. Basoyamoit warned that large-scale limestone mining could damage caves, pollute rivers and worsen air quality in the district. He also alleged that outside forces weakened the party during the JHADC elections, where the VPP secured 8 seats and emerged as a strong opposition. On coal mining, Basoyamoit said the NGT ban targeted rat hole mining and argued that ordinary residents should also benefit from mining opportunities.
Lagi non sinshar gishi kitei non sinshar ki badan de jiket ki baki sufu bagani kan sakta ki pawhajar ki non yi non sen ki bagim chakpo na katam toyo ki trishtom bagyo chakpo nai sinda jega bakum kata ka sarkar kala I bakan sa tuno kata katam ka banta ki pawhajar ki non yi non sen ato ka sarkar kamla de benya sai atau ke sarkar kama dia bilang akan nunggu tempat nginti bangkang dia niam syak ni nama bangkang kuno bangkang ya ke kam lalu dia ke sarkar kepada dia jingkit.
Heavy rain accompanied by strong winds uprooted trees and damaged power lines in several parts of Tura on Saturday night, causing widespread electricity disruption. A huge tree fell on the 33 kV Tura 1 power line at Ringray within the premises of Tura Government Girls Higher Secondary School. Personnel from Meghalaya Power Distribution Corporation Limited, along with SDRF and DDMA teams, launched immediate clearance and restoration work. The main 33 kV line to the Hawakhana substation was also damaged, affecting power supply in Tura and nearby areas. DDMO Tura, James D. Sangma remained present at the site as restoration efforts continued late into the night. Restoration and monitoring efforts are being coordinated by West Garo Hills Deputy Commissioner Vibhor Agarwal in coordination with MEPDCL and DDMA officials. Veteran Khasi writer Reniwel Majao on Saturday released 2 new books titled Ngala Rai and Na Ki Khana Shongnya Shaki Symbol Perkhat Shongs Bai. The books were formally released by Dr. Streamlet Dakhar at Majao's residence in Maulai, Nongpadeng. Majao, aged 70, has been writing books since 2006 and has authored 9 books which are available at Khasi bookstall. Speaking on Ngala Rai, Dr. Dakhar said novels often carry messages on love, determination, hard work and community spirit. She described the second book as a collection of 110 humorous short stories carrying meaningful social messages. Apollo Multi-Specialty Hospitals organized medical awareness discussions in Shillong focusing on head and neck cancer treatment, robotic surgery, gastrointestinal oncology and liver transplantation. Specialists Dr. Rajiv Sharan and Dr. Ramdeep Dey highlighted rising cases of head and neck cancer, particularly in northeast India, linked to tobacco and alcohol consumption. The doctors stressed the importance of early diagnosis, HPV awareness and recognizing symptoms such as persistent throat pain, mouth ulcers and neck swelling. The sessions aim to raise awareness on cancer prevention, organ donation and access to advanced medical care across eastern and northeastern India. Ayin Sara Makri from Mount Num village emerged as the winner of Reboy Superstar Season 3 during the grand finale held at Parish Hall in Nongpo. She received a cash prize of 25,000 rupees along with a trophy and certificate for her winning performance. The competition, organized by LS Siemle Production, aims to promote local youth talent in singing, dancing, beatboxing and performing arts. A total of 13 finalists, including solo and group performers, competed in the final round showcasing diverse talents. Ayin Sara impressed judges with her melodious performance, accompanied by beatboxing artist Siang to clinch the title. The finale was attended by Reboy Deputy Commissioner Abhilash Baranwal and other dignitaries. Here's regional news. Coordinating Committee on Manipur Integrity organized a youth bike rally from Sekmai to Kuman Lampak in Imphal to raise awareness against narco-terrorism. The rally passed through several areas including Bimpar, Lakai, Kasing and other major roads across the region. Organizers said the program aimed to mobilize public support for protecting the indigenous people of Manipur from the threats of narco-terrorism. Kokomi Students Front convener Malangba Mete participated in the rally along with youth volunteers and supporters. Kokomi convener Yangkokpam Diren said the initiative sought to create greater awareness on issues affecting the state.
Kokomi Student Front organized this bike rally on the theme to save Manipur from Chinkuki narco-terrorism. Today's route, starting from Sengmai to Thangmaiban to Nambon to Bishampur to Moirang to Kumbi to Wangu Lamkai to Kaksing to Tawan to Kawa to Singjam to Kongba Road and Kongba Road to Kumalampak Tinship Road. We organized this rally to save the indigenous people from Sinkuki narco-terrorists.
Let's move on to national news. Large parts of India faced severe water shortages amid an intense heat wave affecting several northern regions of the country. The India Meteorological Department has forecast heat wave to severe heat wave conditions in Delhi and surrounding northern states between May 22nd and 27th. Residents in several parts of Delhi were seen waiting in long queues to collect water from tanker services. Reports said 2 heat stroke patients were admitted in critical condition to a government hospital in the national capital. In many northern areas, families were forced to walk long distances in search of water amid rising temperatures. According to IMD norms, a heat wave is declared when temperatures rise significantly above normal levels in plain and hilly regions.
सर बगैर पानी के तो कुछ भी नहीं होता। पानी के बगैर तो दिक्कत ही दिक्कत है, चारों तरफ दिक्कत है। अभी फिलहाल गर्मी जितनी ज्यादा होगी उतनी ज्यादा प्रॉब्लम है। टैंकर उधर नहीं आ रहा सर, इस वजह से प्रॉब्लम है।
सर यहाँ समस्या यही है, पानी का सुविधा भी नहीं है, अब लाइट का सुविधा भी नहीं है, यही समस्या सब चल रहा है जी। ऐसे खा कमा रहे हैं, दूर से पानी ले आते हैं अब ऐसे वहाँ से पीने के लिए आते हैं, पानी बहुत दूर से ले आते हैं। अरे कम से कम न कुछ तो 10 किलोमीटर के और आगे से।
Let's cross over to international news. US Secretary of State Marco Rubio on Sunday said India and the United States are strategically aligned in ensuring global energy security and supporting modern economic growth. Rubio held delegation-level talks with India's External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar in New Delhi during his 4-day visit for the Quad Summit. Jaishankar described the United States as a reliable energy partner and welcomed the expansion of bilateral energy trade. The discussions also focused on wider strategic and economic cooperation between the two countries. Reports indicate the US has linked tariff negotiations with India's diversification away from Russian crude imports. India remains the world's third largest importer and consumer of crude oil.
Both of our countries are strategically aligned in ensuring that we have a world that can not just produce but deliver the energy resources that are necessary to power a modern economy. So I'm not given the breadth and scope of areas of alignment. One visit alone will never solve or be able to address all of these. But this continuing dialogue and engagement between our countries is important.
This is an era of de-risking, and probably energy more than anything else requires de-risking. So a big country, if you are to do de-risking, looks at multiple sourcing. And for us, the United States has emerged as a very significant and reliable source of energy, as indeed have some other countries.
Thai farmers are facing mounting financial pressure due to soaring fuel and fertilizer prices linked to instability in the Middle East and global supply chain disruptions. Many rice farmers in Thailand have reportedly suspended cultivation this season as rising production costs make farming unprofitable. Farmers in Uthai Thani province said fuel, fertilizer, pesticide and machinery expenses have sharply increased, forcing many to leave fields uncultivated. Thailand imports nearly 95% of its chemical fertilizers, with disruptions around the Strait of Hormuz worsening shortages and driving prices higher. Experts warned that if the crisis continues, Thailand could face serious food security challenges and rising rice prices in the coming months. Agriculture contributes around 10% to Thailand's GDP and supports nearly one-third of the country's workforce. And now for a quick look at sports. Union Minister of State for Youth Affairs and Sports Raksha Nikhil Khadse participated in the Fit India cycle rally at IIT Guwahati ahead of preparations for the 2030 Commonwealth Games. The event, organized under the Fit India movement, aimed to promote health, fitness and sporting culture among youth across the country. Despite rainfall affecting parts of the program, students, faculty members and officials took part in the initiative at the IIT Guwahati campus. Officials from the Sports Authority of India and IIT Guwahati Director Devendra Jaliha were also present during the event. The Sunday on Cycle initiative encourages citizens to participate in cycling activities every Sunday as part of the nationwide fitness campaign. Organizers said such programs are being expanded nationwide to strengthen India's sporting ecosystem ahead of future international events. And now let's look at the weather report. In Tura, the minimum temperature was 23 degrees Celsius with the maximum rising to 31 degrees Celsius and relative humidity at 75%. Rainfall was measured at 1.7 millimeters. Moving on to Shillong, the minimum temperature was 18 degrees Celsius with the maximum at 25 degrees Celsius with relative humidity at 100%. Rainfall was measured at 1.2 millimeters. Meanwhile, in July, the minimum temperature was 19 degrees Celsius with the maximum at 24 degrees Celsius and relative humidity at 38%. Rainfall was recorded at 0.5 millimeters. The forecast in Tura, Shillong and July say moderate rain with thunderstorm is likely at many places. Before we wrap up, here is a look at the headlines. Meghalaya youth rescued from Kashmir after a distress call through the CM Connect helpline. Ali Award to receive Padma Shri for preserving Meghalaya's living root bridges and Khasi bio-weaving heritage. Kokumi organizes youth bike rally in Imphal to raise awareness against narco-terrorism. And India-US discuss energy security, strategic partnership and expansion of bilateral energy trade. That brings us to the end of today's news edition. Thank you for watching. We'll be back same time tomorrow. Have a good evening.
Commonwealth Games 2030 celebration at IIT Guwahati during special 75th edition of Fit India Sundays on Cycle. In IPL cricket, Rajasthan Royals set target of 206 runs against host Mumbai Indians.